Okay, so today we're going to talk about how to build your very own self-service kiosk. So this applies to you if you've got a cafe, a restaurant, or some sort of a retail store where you want to do some sort of self-service, whether that's to reduce staff or just to make things more efficiently. And I needed to do this for one of my businesses, so I'm the managing director of a group of companies, and one of my businesses, we're having a few difficulties with staff. We wanted to build a self-service to make things a lot more smooth and much better for the customer, so they could actually go through and choose what they wanted. And you can see a great example of self-service at the moment with McDonald's. So if you go into any McDonald's restaurant, you'll see these huge tablets now there, 6 foot tall. You go up and you start typing on them. So McDonald's are one of the leaders in the industry actually creating this software and the hardware that goes with it. And they spent absolutely millions and millions of dollars or pounds or euros actually developing this. And it's paid off really well for McDonald's. If you look at their share price since they've implemented this, their share price has just skyrocketed, which gives you an insight into what's happening there. They're actually making a lot more profit from this technology by actually utilizing those staff that were on the front kiosk taking your order. So they've now put those into the restaurant, into the back to actually work on food processing more, or they're just simply cutting a lot of staff. So they're keeping some of their best staff, and some of the staff that aren't as good, they're maybe moving them on. So that's what McDonald's have done. They're the market leader. So if you've looked into this yourself, you'll probably notice just how expensive it is to build self-service. And I've come up with a really, really extremely cheap way to do it. Because within this company that I've got, it's still startup, it's 3 years in, and although it's profitable, it's making good profit, the staff costs are really swallowing a lot of that profit, and it's causing very long queues. I mean, the queues through the out the door in our shops some days are ridiculous. So self-service, bringing in a couple of kiosks is going to solve that. So let me show you how I did it. So firstly, what I did was I did the typical, went on Google and searched lots of companies that build self-service. And what I found, which was quite surprising for me, this is 2018, bearing in mind, we're not 1990s right now. Nearly every POS, so that's your point of sale service, is not offering self-service. 99% is still the cashier behind the counter typing it in, which is crazy. I mean, we need more tech companies to be developing this now. So with all that said, I went around and I only found 6 companies that offer self-service. And the prices range from a £10,000 development through to £250,000, which is ridiculous. It will take too long to get my return on investment back on that. So what I did was I did a little bit of research, and I found out there was a point of sale called Square. It's not a UK company, it's actually an American company based out of San Francisco. And they have this fantastic software. You don't have to pay fees either on the POS, like a lot of these big companies. They charge you £300, £500, or even $1,000 a year for using their point of sale software. Square, which is this here, they don't charge you anything. You just buy the software, buy the hardware, you use the software for free, and they make their money from the actual transactions. So this is the great thing about Square. Fantastic. We've set it up. It's working great. And now we're actually going to go from using in the shop where the cashier types in to using the self-service. So here's what I did, and I had to go back and forth with Square a lot on this because no one's done it before. So what we've got right now is in store, we have our cashier with the iPad. So we have one of these iPads. So this is a bubble tea and milkshake drink company. Okay, and this is how the cashier, so you come along and you want a drink. So let's say you want a milkshake. You want a bubblegum milkshake. You click this and you select what you want, if you want any jelly or anything else in it. And then you really simply just add it. So that's it, and then the charge. So that's how the cashier is doing it. All I've done now is just alter this a little bit so it's more simple and someone on the front can do it. So as a customer, you come in and you just press this button. So as an example, it will be in the hardware, which is here. I'll show you this in a minute. We'll get it all set up in the shop. And it's so simple. You simply touch your card to the reader and it pays for it. And you need to do a little bit of tweaking. So I've actually had to buy an Ethernet board from Star Micronics, because some of the printers, most of the printers with this are Bluetooth. So you'll have to, if you've got a Bluetooth printer at the moment, you'll have to actually take the Bluetooth board out and replace it with this. So this is an Ethernet board. You'll then have your printer at the front of house, and they'll be connected via an Ethernet circuit. So that's another matter all in itself. You really got to look at Ethernet networks, but it's not hard to set up. You plug it into your Wi-Fi router, you run the wire to the printer, run it to this other printer, and it all works nicely. So let's head out now. Let's pack this up. We're going to head out to the shop, which is about 30 minutes away from my home, and we're going to get this set up and show you how it all works. All right, so let's do that now. Okay, so we're inside the shop now, and we've set up the hardware. So they come out of the boxes. We have the stand, we have the card reader, and then this is the shop iPad. So we already had the iPad, just loaded the software on it, put on the self-service. Now the thing to note is you have to build this yourself. It's not too difficult, but it does take a little bit of playing around with it. But once it's built then. So that's set up. We've got two of these set up. We've got the Ethernet printer set up. And the last thing that we'll need to do with this is to actually bolt this down so that someone doesn't just pick it up and run off with it. So what we'll do here is we'll cut out a square of the grass, same here, to put this down. And you actually get a toolkit with it. And the great thing about the toolkit is that you have a cleaning cloth, an adhesive mount, or a drill mount. So this is the drill mount, took it from the other box. I'm actually going to use this. So you'll need, it comes with a drill bit, so you'll actually need to drill through your counter, and that goes into the bottom of that. When you haven't got the grass underneath, that'll be absolutely solid. No one will be able to take that and run away with it. And also the iPad, unless you actually know how to get it out, no one's going to be able to grab that and pull it out either. So that is the hardware side all installed now. The only last thing we need to do, which is the bit I said is a little bit tricky, is the Ethernet. So with most printers, especially at the back there, they're going to be Bluetooth. They'll be connected to one iPad to a printer, and that'll be Bluetooth. But what you need is you need this to connect to this, but also to connect to the printer behind the actual counter. Because otherwise the person making the drinks at, wherever you are, restaurant, coffee shop, etc., they won't know what this person's ordered. And unfortunately you can't do that from Bluetooth, so it has to be an Ethernet printer. So I'm going to take this now, and I'm going to take out the Bluetooth, and I'm going to install the Ethernet in the back printer there. And the other thing to notice is this white wire. That is the Ethernet wire. And that Ethernet wire comes into a splitter there, which we'll show you in a second, and then the splitter comes into this and then to that printer. But apart from that, it's fairly straightforward to set up. Okay, so we just had a couple of people trial the self-service. It took a little bit longer than I expected for it to be set up. I was expecting it to take about 10 minutes. It's taken about an hour. As with anything, a couple of technical snags. So I'm going to get on this now, and I'm going to order myself a drink. So let's go for a green apple. Let's add in some blueberry popping bubbles. Really simple. There we go. You can see the order on screen there. And actually, I can customize it more if I want to, but I don't want to. I can customize my sugar level, how cold I want it, how many, etc. But that's good. So I'm just going to hit charge here. I'm going to take my phone, and I'm going to just use contactless. Okay, and then I don't know if you heard that it printed a stub here and then a stub back there if we want to get that.
All right, order number 3.
That's good. Okay, so there you have it. That's how you set up a self-service kiosk without a lot of money, to, a few £100 for the equipment and Ethernet, and that's it. You're good to go.
Who am I looking at?
Yeah, you can zoom.
Who am I looking at? You?
Me, yeah. Or should we do this the camera? We'll do both.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Green apple fruit tea with blueberry bubbles.
Cute. Where's my stuff?